Yeah.
Good evening, welcome to this Estates Committee meeting. The first item on tonight's agenda is apologies for absence. We have apologies from Councillor Clark and Councillor Dubois.
Yep.
Excellent, we're happy to accept those.
Yeah.
Yeah, good, thank you. The next item is declarations of interest. Anybody have anything they'd like to declare? Max?
Sorry, I'm just calling up the agenda,
Okay.
but I think there might be an item that relates to Creative Arnold.
Okay,
I'm saying that just in case there
Yeah.
is, sorry.
that's fine.
Um,
Farrell, anything?
We're on the QVH,
Yeah,
which we have to declare.
yeah.
Oh, actually, I've just seen, I've put approval for costs of replacing the combination door locks at the QVH. And although we agreed to keep the QVH as an update item on here, we can't make decisions, so
Okay,
that's wrong. We'll talk about the lock, but we can't approve the thing. That'll have to go to the QVH committee.
okay. So other than that, nothing about?
No,
No, I haven't got anything, I don't think, so let's move on. Representation from interested parties, nothing this evening. So minutes of the previous meeting, or meetings in this case. So because there was a little bit of one or two little tiny errors last time around, we've got the minutes from the 24th of January and the 20th of February meeting. Are we happy to accept both of those?
I think so.
Yeah?
You want me to propose?
Yeah, that'd be great, Ralph, thank
You
you.
can second it, Max.
Well, I wasn't actually at the meeting,
Well, you don't have to be now,
No,
do you?
fully that.
It's a strange thing,
because I wasn't a member at that stage.
but we weren't a member.
You weren't the second one,
Yeah,
Yeah.
February,
So
not the January.
not the January one. So, am I allowed to?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I'll second that one then. So if we're all agreed.
Voted.
So, okay, I'll sign all of them.
I think I was actually here, but not a member.
I think that's right, I think that's right, yeah.
So I can say that the minutes are in good order, but I wasn't sitting as a member.
Yeah, you were here.
And then you'll see that I appear on the February ones.
Yeah.
And they're all fine.
Okay, so that's that one.
This is just a comment. If there are only 4 people on the committee, it makes it a bit risky in terms of being quorum, doesn't it? I don't think that's enough people.
It's one of the reasons I recommended I join the
Yeah.
CCC. Well, I'm
Yeah.
interested in it anyway, and it was particularly on.
Absolutely, and it's
I
an
think
important
Emma has
committee.
put it out there in the full council if anybody else is interested, because we lost Paul King, Paul Davis and Liz, didn't we? All in the short space of
Yeah,
time.
I really think we should have more people.
Yeah,
We should bring it up with the town council, the full town.
Well, we can have
It's a
it
good
on the
idea,
next,
actually.
we can have it on the next agenda.
We could,
Yeah.
you want me to get Emma to put it on the next full
Yeah,
council
that'd
one
be
as well?
useful, yeah, that'd be good idea, Rob. Right, that's that signed. Okay, so next is reports. So it's just to receive all the reports we usually receive every month to see the IE report for OTC properties and open spaces, the monthly properties and open spaces update, and the action plan and progress report. Now we've received them, but we will move on because there's things we'll talk about within them, I think. The rugby club is the first individual building. We've not got anything to report there. So we'll move on to Fletton House. Now, to approve the cost of the annual Elco boiler maintenance contract. How think, is this the one that is 10%? There was just a 10% increase, or?
No, it's the same.
No, it's the same,
The last
okay.
2 years they've kept it the same, and they did the same during COVID. And this is the insurance, or it's kind of like an insurance. Has been its weight in gold, worth its weight in gold, because we had quite a few issues with it
Right,
last year. And because we've got the gold maintenance, Premier Gold maintenance contract, it covers us for virtually everything. So we had quite a few parts needed replacing and quite a few call outs, and it was all covered. So
Okay.
we took
so, and they've given us the same quote?
same price as last year, yeah.
Seems fairly,
Yeah,
And they're good, they're local, they've got a local technician. So if we have any issues
Yeah.
where we need somebody quick, they're normally out within a day, which is
excellent.
really good, yeah.
Yeah, no brainer, not so good.
any thoughts, Max?
Yeah.
Yeah, you happy with that? Okay, so as it's an approver,
Yeah.
Val's gonna, I'll second it, so if we're all happy with that? Yeah,
Thank you.
brilliant. Okay, the hub is next. Nothing to report, but we have got, Moor Oaks review, is that right, coming up soon?
That's coming up at a special meeting.
Yeah,
All the-
I think I spoke to Emma about it tonight because David Chappell emailed me thinking that there was a personnel meeting this evening at 7, and I said no, it's the States this evening. So I think Emma had floated the idea of doing it before the general finance and general purposes meeting on the 11th of April. So I
That's
think
what we normally would
Yeah,
do with
yeah.
the personnel committee.
yeah, so I think that's what she's aiming for. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, sounds good, that's good, I'm sure we'll hear about that, but it sounds very good. So QVH, so we can't approve the costs.
no,
but
sorry, I
we
completely
can-
forgot. I
That's
just
fine.
forgot and put it on there. But yeah,
But we can talk about it, I guess we can recommend it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the report, the current locks are old and very tricky to change the code. The mechanism would need to be dismantled to do that. Gilbert Sullivan's players and other performing groups asked this to be done for their performances. And new models are more user friendly. So I guess this is just one of those things that bit of wear and tear we've got.
yeah. I mean, how long ago did I? 2018, and I remember asking John to change the code for the GNS, and he said, "Oh, it's so tricky." And I said to him, "It can't be that bad, surely." He said, "I'll show you." And he literally has to take it apart and move some pegs around. So I don't know how
Wow.
old this lock is because it
Wow.
doesn't look that old, but. And a couple of times after we've changed it, it's got stuck a few times. So I think it's starting to.
Right.
So not only is it tricky anyway, there's much more user-friendly ones available, and I don't want a situation where it does go when somebody's trying to get in and have a function at the Queen Victoria Hall. So I think it's time that we invest
Okay.
in some new locks.
So as much as we can't approve it, we can, I guess.
Yeah, recommend
Recommend.
the next QVH. This is the what Rebecca did some research with Nobby
Yeah.
to find out the ones that would ideally fit and the ones that were the best and for the best price. So did I not put the price on here?
I was going to say, what kind of value are they charging?
Don't know why I didn't put the price on there. Sorry about that. I thought I had.
And don't worry if you don't know, the one is going in front of you. It seems that the key thing, given what G&H has said, is that we need something where the combination can change, presumably. That said, there are other groups that probably don't want the combination to change, like badminton and so on and so forth.
We do change it back.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we used to change it once a year.
yeah.
Round about GNS time, but if they wanted something specific that nobody else had,
Right.
we changed that and then change it back to the one that was that for the
The key
year.
thing is that whatever we replace it with has the functionality to
Yes,
enable
yeah.
those kinds of
Yeah.
changes to take place. That's
Yeah.
what I would say. I mean, I understand why they wouldn't want, because they put a lot of stuff in
They
there.
do,
obviously.
yeah.
Some of which is
Expensive,
on hire.
very expensive
You know,
equipment, yeah.
all the lighting stuff is on hire for a week and what have you.
Oh, it is on there. I know I'd seen it, so £129.
Okay.
So, yeah,
I can't see that being a problem in the
no.
QVH scheme of things.
So
Okay,
the-
so I guess if we say that we recommend that we go with that quote
Yeah.
to the next.
And there's two, there's one on the side door up the steps, you know, that used to be the old hairdresser,
Yeah.
and then there's the front door one, yeah, so it'd be two of those.
Yeah,
That's brilliant.
excellent.
Brilliant, okay.
There's not one round the back, is there? That's just a
No,
fire
that's
exit.
just fire exit, yeah, nothing turn at the back.
Okay. Okay, courthouse. Discuss potential new tenant. Charm shaper.
That's it, yeah.
Discuss costs to make effective. So this is interesting. This is an interesting one, isn't it? Because the year's rent. So basically, consider new tenant for office 2A currently vacant. As it's not an ideal rental, the clerk and space officer has earmarked the office for extra town council storage. It is a small room with only a Velux roof light. It also has a damp issue which would need more permanent solution to should it be rented out. Quotes coming in high far outweigh potential rental income, and there is no budget left for this financial year. First quote including impacting or expected. So having a look at the quotes, they, like you say, massively outweigh the potential income we would get. However, someone is offering money for a room we're not currently getting money for. So
Is it a good idea to have a dump room to be used as storage?
Well, no, we'd still have to do
Yeah.
something
So
to
we
it,
Yeah.
really need to
it's where we're
sort
at.
it first.
but what's been happening, we've been Nobby's been doing it with some stuff that you paint on and then just repainting it.
Yeah,
But
Oh,
we've
yeah.
got to do
That's not
something a
good.
bit more, maybe not go as far as what these guys are suggesting,
Yeah.
because these are just the first two and they were just straight away like,
Okay.
all the plastic's got to come off and it's got to be tanked kind of thing. I've got some other people giving me their opinion as well. So we'll see what they say. But yeah, those are the two. I did send you the second quote that came in yesterday. didn't I?
I get it.
Yeah.
Which room is it? I mean, I do know the courthouse inside.
You know
out,
where
but
the
I
lift
don't know the
is
numbers.
downstairs? It's the one dead opposite the lift.
Sorry,
Dead opposite the lift downstairs,
right.
ground floor. So it's and when Oundle School had it, they only used it as a meeting room. So it literally was where they went in, had their half an hour meeting or briefing in the morning, then came out. So nobody
Right.
was sitting in there all day, every day. And the tenant before that, he used it as storage. He just got it full of all his bits and pieces. So it's not I don't think since we were there using it as an office, I don't think it's been used properly as an office, which is part of the problem, I think, with the damp, because it's not been ventilated properly.
Exactly.
There's an extractor fan, but obviously it's linked to the light, and because the light
And
wasn't
that
been
only
on,
beyond when people were using
Yeah.
it.
and the window was shut tight as well. So we opened the window up the other day to let a bit of air in as well. So it's obviously
But
fixed.
unless there's a mystery leaking pipe,
Well, we've had
it wouldn't be a roof leak.
Howard David have taken a picture of the chimney, because we think we pulled up some of the tiles and there's some watermarking near the base of the chimney spreading out, because the floor goes like that. So we think it might be coming from the chimney, and Howard David had offered to put a drone up in the air for us to look at the roof whenever we wanted to. So they've
Right.
looked at the
Okay.
chimney breast, and on one side of the chimney breast it definitely looks like the guttering is failing, because there's
Oh.
green.
So it's curable.
Yeah, we think we know where it's coming from now. We thought it was rising damp because the skirting boards were all rotten. But we've got to knock a bit of the chimney breast
So we
out.
should do it then.
Yeah, it has to be done. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I did say to this lady, it could be 6 months by the time we've got it
Do
approved.
we
got it
have
sorted.
any other similar sized offices for
They're full, all gone. Like we agreed the last one, like at the last meeting.
Yeah.
So this is the last one, yeah.
I think as long as we keep the prospective Taylor tenant, I can't remember, she's got a very lovely exotic name.
Katerina.
Yeah.
Informed that we
Yeah.
intend to do it up. And can we reserve it for them as such?
Yeah, she's willing to wait. I said to her, obviously things do take time because we've got to get the quotes, get approval. And one of these chaps says he's busy up until summer. So he said, if you want it doing quickly, it won't, I'm not the man for the job kind of thing. So I did warn her, but she said she's happy to wait.
Okay, as long as we're keeping in touch with the
Yeah,
prospective tenants. Then,
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we'll wait for other quotes.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we'll say not necessarily against the
Yeah,
idea
Nobby's
of,
going to do some exploratory work, so we're going to
I
take out the
think we
fan.
were in favour of remedying it anyway. aren't we?
Yeah, I think it's got to be
Yeah.
done really. It's only going to get worse as things do.
Okay. Okay, so we'll move on from that. Car parks. Yeah. To discuss the complaint about permanent daily parking in disabled bays of car park, Simex step. So we had a letter about a vehicle that is permanently parked.
Yeah, no, that's the chemist who died.
Yeah, Mr. Simmons.
Christine still, she was the owner, and she lives in the house that's in the back of that
Right.
land.
Okay.
Behind, next to the courthouse.
Yeah.
The parking, car park. I've never seen her drive the car.
No, you see this, I don't know whether,
There's no way is she going to be backing it up the.
because they've got a driveway, haven't they?
There is actually a track up to the back of the house
Right.
from St Osithi's Lane, which he used to be able to negotiate. But I don't think it's being used.
I'm not even sure she
I
drives.
was going
to
to
be honest.
raise it myself actually,
Yeah,
because it's blocking one of the
Yeah.
disabled car park spaces.
and I don't think she drives, and she's definitely not disabled.
Definitely, no.
So I was wondering whether to just tap on the door and just
what
say.
powerless do we have to do anything as such?
Well, that the butcher Trendles had left their van and they'd sawn it in our car park. So I spoke to, they're called Elvis, and they're the end of life vehicle life recovery service. And they can take vehicles. They have taken a couple of vehicles before for us that have just been left untaxed and MOT'd on our premises. Although I'm having issues with a Mini that's in the drill hall at the moment. That's the same. It's just been left there abandoned for about a year, and it's quite tricky.
Give them the owner notice. We know who the owner is, don't we?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think probably the best course of action is if I go and speak to her first.
I don't think any vehicle should be parking in the car park. We shouldn't be being.
No.
It's the same with the vehicles from the undertakers, because that was part of the planning permission. They undertook not to be parking vehicles in the car park. And I think they should all be.
So there's no overnight parking there anyway, is there?
There's no.
There's no.
No.
Well,
No, it's a
People
short
do.
stay.
Yeah,
Lots of people do it. But
I mean, can we just serve notice and just say, unless the car is removed?
We will remove it.
they definitely have a blue badge today.
it's not on display. No, I saw the car there today, and it's definitely not on display. The other one, I don't know who that is. I don't see. I've seen that one for years, but
Yeah.
this one.
I have to say, it is an issue. The amount of times I've noticed, I literally about 2 weeks ago saw a guy just walk out of his car. I actually looked in the window. There's no blue badge or anything. So it is an issue. What the answer is, I don't know.
I think we should write to the law saying that their vehicles will be removed if we don't.
I'm not sure whether we have the powers to remove them, though. I'll have to check. like I say, with this mini that's in the drill hall, they said something to me about we can't just come and remove it. I said, but you have done that before for us in the past.
Yeah,
They
we
removed
have.
one from East Road car park that
Yes, we
was
have.
left. Where was it left? It was left in Marketplace.
Yeah,
And somebody moved it for us. We didn't ask them to do it. It was left with the key in the ignition or on the floor.
Wow.
So somebody, a resident, said, well, I'll move it out the Marketplace and move it to East Road car park for you. And then I got this, the government, it's called Elvis, I can't remember exactly what it stands for, but they come and collect them. But for some reason, whether the regulations have changed, they've said to me about this mini, you need to take evidence, photographic evidence of the condition of it and everything, and then we might be able to remove it on the basis of something else. I can't remember what they said.
are we doing that then?
Yeah, well, I've got to go down and take a video. They said if it's burnt out or it's a hazard, they'll remove it instantly.
Yeah,
But if it's not, they have to consider it quite carefully. But at the end of the day, if somebody's just dumped it, I don't know why.
It's tough, isn't it?
I think warning letter to start with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People might not be aware of the, or not
Yeah,
want to
I
be
mean, we
aware of the
prefer-
regulations.
Precisely, we prefer that the owner moved it.
Sure.
Well, that's what happened with Trendles, you see. He said it had broken down. He was
Yeah.
going to try and get it done before Christmas. But if he couldn't, it would be as soon as possible in January. And then he still hadn't done it. So I phoned him again. And within a couple of days, it was gone. So that's what you want to happen, that the
Yeah.
person does it. But you see, that vehicle's not parked there because it's broken down. It's
No.
parked there because it's convenient for the resident. So I don't know.
Well, yeah, but it still shouldn't be there. though.
No.
No, they shouldn't.
Um,
And there are only residents who might want to be leaving them there.
well,
would be
that's
the
the whole
ones
point.
living
If we,
in
if,
opposite, and
if-
they've all got special arrangements anyway, so.
if we leave it without policing it, so to speak, then it sets a precedent.
It
for
does.
others to-
Yeah,
And I know disabled people do get frustrated. I mean, quite often you'll go there and there's no spaces, disabled spaces left, and other times all of them. But you know, it must be really frustrating on busy days if you can't get parked and
Absolutely,
you're
yeah.
not able-bodied.
well, and also if we leave them there, that's giving the go ahead to anybody.
Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely
Yeah.
the same thing, that's.
Okay,
Okay, so we're agreed to a letter or at least make contact.
yeah,
now.
I think that's
Okay.
fair. Okay, next is public toilets. So leaks and lights are all sorted.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Brilliant.
Touch wood.
Okay, that's good. We'll move on. Properties and open spaces, the rec, play area, skateboard park, etc. To receive extension quotes and sign next step. So this is the path.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is who knew how expensive the path could be.
I know. I've texted this. I told you, didn't I, Jamie? I've texted that chat
See,
again.
I-
this evening.
Yeah.
I think this is, the sort of thing could come up at the town meeting, because actually it's quite important. Not everybody might think we should have a path across the way. I'm somebody who doesn't think we should, for a start,
Okay.
because you've got implications then about if somebody's hurt by a stray football or something. Do you know what I mean? Which is more important, the path or the playing field? So there are issues around it about how people might feel.
Mm.
Personally, that's what I think. And, you know, it's not something that it's important to spend the money on, is it? So they're going to save a
Well-
few people getting their shoes muddy at the end of the day. You know, if there was a change and that there was a road closed and it was the only way through, then I would.
Mm.
But I do think we ought to ask the townspeople whether they think it's a good idea.
You mean ask the other councillors or?
No, I mean ask the
Us.
townsfolk.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to. How do we
Because
do
we've
that?
got a meeting coming up, it's not
Oh,
like we've
yeah,
got to
that's
wait
true.
for a year.
We've got the April meeting.
Yeah,
Because it's going to have to be, with those kind of costs, it's going to have to be a full council approval.
Yeah.
because of the cost.
And the alternative is to write a letter and post it in the immediate houses around, perhaps. Just ask their view. And
It's
I
not-
agree,
it's not
I agree
bad,
with
yeah.
you. I mean, it's quite a lot of money, and it seems as though it would be nice as though we had some consent or consensus.
Yeah,
or
consultation.
Um,
Yeah, I like that, yeah.
but we could put it on the agenda for the.
Yeah, there aren't
the
many
meeting.
houses around.
No, that's what I was trying to think.
There's only Gordon Road.
And I was just trying to think
Yeah.
how you spread the net.
On
You see what I
the
mean?
end of St Peter's Road.
And then just there's about 4 or
I
5 houses
prefer to
opposite.
ask the people at the town meeting.
So should I suggest to Emma she
We
puts
could,
it on the town
or we
meeting?
could.
Yeah,
Could we put something on the website? And
Yeah.
ask people's
Yeah.
opinion?
Well,
Yeah,
I'll ask Emma what way to go, because I think you probably,
yeah, that's,
do you need to take it to full council to agree to put it on the agenda for the
it's
town
a
meeting?
very permanent thing to be doing.
Yes,
It's
it
not
No,
like
it's not
sowing
reversible.
a few seeds or
No,
something.
no, it's not reversible. Well, not in the short term.
Absolutely not reversible.
And
Of course.
it's, the danger of course is whenever you go to any consultation, a bit like the traffic report, that there are some people that love it and some people that hate it.
Yeah.
And it's where you find the
Yeah,
common ground. isn't it?
yes, yeah.
I mean,
there might be a group that says, oh, we've always wished there was or something,
Yeah.
but on the other hand,
So let's try and, I think it's a very good point, Dan, I think I agree with you. If we can solicit views and opinions before, it's not that we won't take action, but it'd be nice to just have a few more views and opinions before we do.
well,
I mean,
we
we've
did
had-
the same with the skate park, didn't we? We went out to
I
consultation
was
for
going to
that,
say
so
we did that,
yeah.
yeah. we
So I'll
called
just
that
tell Emma that
consultation.
suggested
And we had
we
to
have a
spend a lot of
consultation.
money in that
Yeah.
case because of the possibility of noise and stuff,
Yeah.
which has never happened, has it? We've never had one complaint since.
No. Okay.
okay. That's fine. Okay, so there's nothing else there. Snipe Meadow, green spaces, etc. To approve the 10% increase in costs as per the Brazers email.
Sorry, I missed the last bit.
Sorry, so the basically it's a 10% increase every year.
Well, he said this year because
This year.
things have gone up, so we'll see what happens.
In the our cow friends.
How Dexter's.
Yeah. Being on the meadow. So it's whether or not we approve that. But I think it's just a standard.
It is sort of a formality because we
Yeah.
agreed a 5-year
Yeah.
lease with him. Although we agreed the price of £850. The same with everything. We understand that costs sometimes go up.
Yeah,
Don't ever come down, but sometimes go up.
Yeah.
So, is everybody happy with that?
yeah, what do we think
Yeah.
of
I think it would be a retrograde move to, somebody stop doing it.
Yeah.
that? Okay, so I'll propose that.
Well, Max can say that he's the one already
Yeah.
said.
Max and second down. Great, so that's good. Trees. So Councillor Clark has taken care of quite a few of them. Potentially the idea of donating some trees for the coronation to OPS.
Andal Primary School, I'm assuming
Okay.
that means.
What's LJ is?
Blackstone Junior School.
No.
I don't. I did think. I did have to
Yeah.
think about it myself.
We do like his abbreviations, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, so all solar trees, Norway maple and St Peters to be felled and replaced on the recommendation of the tree officer. Further,
Yeah, that's ongoing again
Yeah.
now because
Yeah.
the Peterborough Diocese has come back to us and said because of the archaeological significance of the burial site, they're a bit worried about removing the root stock.
Okay.
So I've been liaising with the tree officer and we've come to the conclusion that maybe cutting it to ground level and letting it rot out itself without disturbing the ground. He was also concerned about planting another tree, again for disturbing the ground. So he suggested that we get another tree but plant it on another one of our properties.
okay.
So he says he knows it's not ideal because we don't like removing trees. However, because of the damage it could do to the graveyard. And the tree officers has agreed, and I basically went back to them and said that I think the council will go with what all of you as
They're the experts.
professional experts think, but they haven't formulated. The tree officer hasn't come back and formulated the amendments to the conditions to the planning. He's away this week, so he said when he gets back he'll put something in writing.
Okay. Thoughts about that? Anyone?
We normally pay attention to the tree officer's recommendations,
Yeah.
don't we?
Yeah.
We do.
What was having one, if you, and then so you don't like the advice.
Yeah.
And I think you were both present at the planning meeting, weren't you, when he came to give a talk?
Yeah.
And he's
Yes.
very passionate about retaining a tree if at all possible. So he will only remove it if
Yeah.
he absolutely feels it's necessary. And it was him. We applied for approval to prune it quite severely, and it was him that came back and said it's going to look awful. It's in poor condition. You may as well get rid of it. So it was his suggestion to
I think
actually
we
fell
should
it.
do a seat
Yeah.
analysis.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Do we need to approve that?
No, because once
No.
he comes back with exactly what he
Yeah.
thinks we should do,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, fine.
Do you have
Would
any more
yeah.
thoughts on these tree saplings?
Yeah, do we want to donate them as part of the combination?
Well, we can offer them. I mean, I don't think
Yeah.
as yet they've been offered.
Yeah.
I think the sooner we offer them, the better, because we won't be able to plant them
No.
out soon.
I mean, last meeting you were talking and everyone seemed in favour of waiting and being able to plant some on the Fletton Field.
Well, that's why he's put them into pots,
But-
but there's still quite a lot of them, aren't there? And I think there'll be enough for Fletton Field as well as the schools that he's mentioned. Because I doubt if they're going to take more than a couple each.
No, yeah. I think
How many
there's-
are there?
I think there's 30.
There's quite a lot.
Okay.
It's 30, I think.
Well, it's certainly worth notifying people that they are available.
I think that's a good idea actually, yeah. If there's 30, I mean,
Yeah.
each school's probably.
I mean, I'm very keen on trees, but I don't see the point of just putting trees in somewhere without really thinking about it.
Well,
No, yeah.
Once they're done
Precisely,
again, they're done, aren't they?
Trees are for the long term. but-
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay,
Okay.
so,
So you're all in favour of me
yeah,
contacting
that
schools?
sounds really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Do you want to vote?
Yeah, please. I'll propose.
And we all approve.
Who second?
Max,
Max.
Me, I seconded it.
we can take it in turns, Max.
Yeah, your turn next time.
Okay. Next is the workshop.
And storage.
Storage, in
Yeah.
particular, Amps Car Park.
Yeah, I think last meeting it was suggested I go to Philip Amps to find out what was involved, and he said he was told it's a temporary structure,
Yeah, I'm.
so there's no
There's
planning
no problem.
involved.
No.
So, or because I think it came back to the States because of that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or was it the cost? I can't remember.
Something.
So if I just, it was just for me to inform you, and I suppose the next steps will
Say
be,
that we've received the information.
Yeah.
from you.
and then if you want to
And it's
put it back on
recorded,
full
isn't it?
council, because I think it was over £2,000, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Container quotes.
Yeah.
So that's got to go back to, if you're
Okay,
happy, if you're
yes,
happy with that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. We'll get through EV charging, nothing, St. Peter's Church, nothing. Nothing about benches, it says.
No, although just after I published this agenda, another lady contacted me and they would like to purchase and donate a bench dedicated to her parents who lived and loved Oundle. And I was talking to her about the various locations and the benches that were one that we've installed and another one that is going to be installed in the rec. And she has suggested, which it'll appear on the next agenda for you to consider, one at the top of Snipe Meadow at the beginning of the boardwalk. And I
Okay,
said to her, that might be quite a nice idea because there is no seating at all.
Mm.
We just have to consider quite carefully where we put it because of flooding, so we might have to raise it. But I think at the beginning of the boardwalk, where the new interpretation board is, and the cows are in that field, and then you've got the Snipe Meadow in front of you, that might be quite a nice place. So she's happy to pay for it. She's happy to pay for a plaque dedicated to her parents.
Wow.
And she said they both loved Snipe Meadow, so that would be perfect.
Wow. yeah, lovely.
Very good.
Okay. That's great. The Owl Cemetery.
Where are we?
Okay, so it's the land at the top of the cemetery.
Yes, yeah. I've
Um,
had two local PGR and Land Tech come out and have a look, and I'm still just waiting for quotes.
Okay.
And I've approached another chap as well. It's quite tricky. It's going to be quite a tricky thing to do because it's right at the top. The only access to it is quite a bad condition pathway.
Okay.
One of them said they could bring some smallish dumper trucks, but obviously the spoil is an issue. But we sort of think we've worked out that they could corner a bit off behind the main fence on the front of the cemetery, between a couple of trees where they can stack it all, and then a grabber can come and pull up because they don't. There's too much to have skips out on the front, and it would block the pathway. And he said you're looking at road closures and all sorts of things there, or two-way traffic lights and things like that. So we were trying to work out. It's doable, but it's difficult, so it's going to be costly.
Okay.
But yeah, we're still waiting for quotes on that.
Okay. We'll see where that
Leads us.
gets us. Yeah. Okay. Jonestrong's nothing. Markets. Now, Councillor Clark came up with a few ideas regarding the markets. I don't know if we've had a chance to look at them.
When did he do his paper? I don't seem to have read that one.
It is.
I might have to put.
It's there, look.
Have you got one? Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
brilliant. Thank you.
Since Ian suggested this, some more things have happened. Obviously,
Okay.
you'll all remember that it was a particular concern of Paul King's. He used to bring it up quite regularly because living opposite, he'd seen the decline over the
Yeah.
years. There's been, Morag's been reporting, because she's now taken over managing it, and she's reporting that a lot of them are spreading out, they're bringing more tables, they're arguing between themselves about, encroaching on each other's space. And I think generally Morag's getting the feeling that it's lacked a bit of discipline in terms of they seem to think they can get away with what they want. hence they're parking their vehicles on site during the market.
Mm.
And so
Yeah.
when they get potential new people that want to come, it makes it very awkward to fit them in. And Morag was saying on Saturday, was it Saturday? Did we have farmers market this Saturday? No, it wasn't, was it?
No, Saturday,
No, this
Thursday.
Thursday, sorry, Thursday. She tried to, you know, the charm shape lady, the
Oh, yeah,
fabric
right.
lady, she's coming on the market as well.
Okay.
And apparently where Morag had intended her to be, somebody had put some stuff there, so she had to shuffle her down. And she said as soon as she tries to say anything, they get really annoyed with her.
Right.
So I think we need to revisit our rules and regulations, and we
Okay.
need to re-emphasise that
Absolutely.
it's our market and they will go where they're asked to go, kind of thing. Because Morag just says she feels like they're just completely ignoring everything she says. So I think what's happened as well is, I'm pretty sure the veg man wasn't down both sides. I think that was something we did for
It certainly
COVID.
wasn't.
Yeah.
We did it to keep everybody.
It was about controlling people.
That's right, but for some reason it just never went back to the
Okay.
layout that it was.
Okay.
So I think Morag's finding it very frustrating that they don't seem to be respecting what she wants to happen. And any newcomers aren't really being made to feel welcome, they're just being made to feel like, well, this is our spot, you can't have it. And I said to her this afternoon, I think we need to get estates to agree that we need to contact them and say, these are the rules, this is what you do, you only use the space that you're paying for, because apparently they just keep bringing more tables and this sort of thing. And
I
then-
agree with that, and I think we should also, sorry, just to point out that if they use additional space, we will charge them
yes.
more.
Yeah, because Ian has suggested in his paper about discount on the price, but it's such a cheap
Yeah,
price
I
anyway.
know,
It's
yeah,
so cheap. I don't think we could make it any cheaper, to be fair. But yeah, they should be paying for what they're using.
Yeah, absolutely.
Over the years, what the market traders, because I've done my time on overseeing the market, they like the fact that we're firm about it.
Mm.
That's something that makes them feel more comfortable.
Mm.
So I don't think we might upset one or two people by laying
Yeah.
down the law and saying that these are the, you know, that this is the market rules, as it were. But I think you'll find that some of them who have been kind of overwhelmed by other people would actually be very grateful.
And I would have thought if it improves and more people, there's more of an offering.
Yeah.
Because it's organised better and
Yeah.
people are made to stay in their own plots, they'll be happy because it will bring more people in if there's more variety. But yeah, I didn't realise that they were, when Karen was looking after it, when she was able-bodied and able to go down there, nobody stepped out of line. You go there, and she wouldn't have any of their moaning and whinging.
Yeah, we've
Of course.
thrown off people over the years.
Yeah,
We've thrown
But
people
obviously,
off.
because she had her accident and hasn't been able to physically be present there, she's been running it as well as she can via email and via phone. She's very quick if they are messing around, but because she hasn't got that physical presence. But of course, now we've got Morag, who is the physical presence. They're kind of objecting to it, so I think we just need to reiterate.
And we've lost one of the two key people, one or two people
Yeah.
who've been on it a long time.
Like years,
the key
yeah.
people who did know how it worked.
Mm.
And then the vegetable people are just kind of drowning it in veggies, really.
Yeah. Okay, so you're happy for that to happen, for us to contact them and.
Yeah, but
Sorry, no, carry on.
I think in relation to Ian's email, which I'm having to read on the site, that's on the papers the wrong way around, that's fine. It strikes me that there's an additional issue, which is really having some discussion, and again, it goes back about consultation about the future of the market and what people want the market to be. Because he's talking about here, well, at one level, how do we attract more stall holders? What's the impact of that on parking? There are a number of kind of holistic issues here. And I think it would be useful if I don't think we can develop a strategy per se here. I think what we can do, and again, I don't want to get that crowded meeting in April, but there has to be some kind of consultation, some form of, what is the strategy for the market? And in order to develop that strategy, policing is one thing, and we should do that regardless. But in terms of how it develops moving forward, doesn't that need a more open kind of discussion?
Well, it's a fact of life that there are less people wanting to be market traders, without question, isn't it? A lot fell off, when, with COVID and one thing and another, but they were teetering on the edge anyway.
And when you speak to the market traders, they all say how hard it is, but it's getting harder.
And it's getting harder.
Yeah.
So that might be the reality, that street markets might be.
That's true, but there are some markets that are not very far from here, Buckingham and Thrapston, that seem to do very well.
Yeah, not sure.
Maybe that's an interesting point, Max. Maybe it might be a case of speaking to other town councils and saying, look,
what do you do?
What's your strategy? What's
I think that's what Paul suggested some time ago, actually.
Okay.
That before Morag was here. And I know she'd be willing to do that. I know she'd be willing to do that because any kind of input that would help.
I think that would be a very good starting point, just to try and find out what their view is.
Yeah.
And whether they feel it's also on decline.
And whether the townspeople want it.
Yeah.
Whether they would stand up.
Okay, so could we ask Morag to look into that?
Yeah.
I mean, I personally don't think Thrapston's even as good as ours. Never mind about better, it looks more, because it's spaced out down the street.
Maybe
But the reality is that there isn't really anything.
You might well be right there now.
They're struggling as well.
The last time I went to Thrapston, it was busy, but there was also, because there's a cattle market there as well, isn't there? So
No, I don't think they have the cattle market anymore.
Well, this was.
How long ago was that? Well, unless they revived it.
I don't think it was last summer. It might have been the summer before, but it was. We couldn't understand why it was so busy. I was like, surely it's not this busy just for the market. But it was the cattle because we parked near where it was. But
But it's
certainly I've been told Stamford is really
because
good.
in a way, there might, there ought to be a.
I still look at Stamford market is very good.
But what was the other one you said, Max?
Sorry?
What was the other one you said? Uppingham. Yeah.
Different county, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
not that far away.
No.
Okay.
And those Sutton's a very similar town.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Good. I hope Eden will be okay with that as well. We can always revisit it next time we use it.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, so town events.
It's a bit early, but you're used to it now, aren't you?
So reindeers. Are we happy with our reindeer quote?
Golly. Yes, I should think. Aren't we?
I think so. We can't not have them now.
Yeah.
They're a loved
Institution.
fixture. Yeah, they're a loved fixture. That's why she always contacts me, because she starts getting booked up. So she always says, do you want us again this year?
We have to do it, don't we?
Yeah.
It is lovely.
Yeah.
I mean, I have had one person complain and say they didn't think it was right. But,
What's wrong with it then?
well, they don't actually, they're not indigenous to this country, and isn't it cruel to them? And I mean, have you seen them? They're so laid back, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Sit there munching all
It's
day
like
and
an
then
apple,
sleep.
then.
Yeah.
They're a fact of life, they're here.
So can we get I'll propose
Okay.
that.
Jamie proposed.
So,
Val's turn. So
Last turn.
Val seconds. Also in town of extra bunting. We've got extra bunting, which is always good.
Yep,
Coronation.
that's come through. Yeah.
Streetlights. The drill hall brightness.
Yeah, funnily enough, because I'd not heard from the resident, I'd emailed the resident and told them what Eon had done, and I didn't hear anything. But he emailed me the other day and said it has helped in terms of the brightness, but he said he still thinks we really need it on a timer or a photo cell so that it's not on all night, because he just said in terms of the bill for the council. So I will, if you're happy with that, I'll say thank you. It has worked turning one of them off, but can the remaining one be on a timer or something?
It's not as bright, but it's still quite bright. As you
Yeah.
say, it's also on all the way through
Yeah.
until whatever, 5, 6.
So if we can get a photo cell on it, then it'll adjust itself automatically. So I will email them.
Okay, great.
Okay, good. So CCTV is next. There's maintenance on the 28th of March.
That was today. That's
So
all
that's
done.
today.
That's today.
They sent me the report within about 10 minutes of the lads leaving site, and they reported that one of the cameras up near the SciTech building has got a crack in the lens. So I went straight back to them and said, can we have it replaced as soon as possible? And they said it's not necessary. The picture is fine at the minute, but just keep an eye on it. So, so that's done for another 6 months.
Anything more with Arnold School and the CCTV?
Oh, for the
Issue that they
incident?
had. Yeah.
No, the police officer came back to me and said she doesn't think she's going to be able to prosecute.
Okay.
She said, although they know the company, we haven't got the number plate or the name. And she said, she asked me if I had contact details of the said person. I said, I don't. I said, but Arnold School possibly do because it's an employee. But I said, I can't say whether they're going to speak to you about it, but I've just put Ian in touch with the police officer that's dealing with it.
Okay.
So it's up to them really
Okay.
now what can be done about it.
Okay. I'll do that at the end. Okay, so energy, nothing to report.
No.
Which brings us to any other business for report only, Max.
No.
Wow.
I had somebody, it will go on forever, but if I can update myself through you, please, about North Street, what's happening in North Street. This resident who lives in North Street is saying that he doesn't seem to get any, it's talked about things that can be done to repair the road sufficiently, because all the very heavy, and there is a huge increase in vehicles now going on through the town anyway, North Street being part of it, which does make things even like their radiators on their walls in their properties, which of course are mostly listed, shake, damage to people's personal property with heavy vehicles and potholes. What can you say, Lisa? Or anybody else?
Well, they have to report it.
They are, of course, reporting it. It is going to highways, but nothing happens.
You see, the vehicles going to the Cotterstock development shouldn't be going that way anyway.
Yeah.
But we don't,
That's
how
right.
do we know if it is those vehicles that are responsible for it?
There aren't many businesses now in the town,
No.
so it's
No
not that they're
deliveries.
large vehicles having to deliver, which would give them, because we do actually have weight limits and speed limits in the town. My view is that it's because we can't ever get anything, there's no policing of it
No.
No.
at all.
And the thing, Ian's spoken to various developers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said I would pass it on. I
Yeah.
think we need to keep on making a note of the fact that people are concerned.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I can do that Sarah Barnwell, who's in Highways, she's always really, really helpful, and if I have any queries, I normally email her and say, what would you suggest I do? Who would you suggest I at least send an email to?
Yeah.
And she always comes straight
Their
back with
view
it.
is that she is always extremely approachable
Yeah.
and helpful
Yeah.
and sympathetic, but nothing happens. That was what was put to me this very day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll have a word
That
with
just
her and
seems
see.
to be, and there's no, as I say, her problem would be really that there's not enough, not necessarily police, but you can only report the traffic every so many times. When we had PCSOs, which over the years we've had them occasionally for a bit, and they will take the numbers of any offending vehicles and report it to the management at the company that the vehicle is from. Brilliant, but the problem is it doesn't happen often enough to have any kind of.
No, well, that's the issue. You've got to be there and see them doing it.
Yeah, I think, I was going to say, unless you're
And then you've got to
literally
have
filming.
a record filming
Yeah.
or whatever. But we need
It's
to
not
find a way around it because it's true, and they are, at the end of the day, they're part of what is the good thing about Oundle. We like having listed buildings and a conservation area, etc.
Well, I had the same complaint a few years ago from someone I know that lives down Mill Road. And he said 5 o'clock in the morning, you've got delivery lorries speeding down Mill Road. And he said, literally my whole house shakes. He said, I'm in bed and it wakes me up because it is that loud. And I think it was Sarah that I spoke to about that, and there wasn't a huge amount that she could do.
Yeah, my mother visited recently and she was sitting in a flat which is on the marketplace, and a bus went past and a wall was went past.
Yes,
And she was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
It's quite funny. Yeah.
I'm wondering if this, from time to time, we ought to perhaps be putting pressure on our representatives on North Northants Council, because we've got new people, it's a new cycle of people on that in a new organisation. Why don't we?
Was anything discussed along those, because I've not been involved in it, the transport study, was anything touched on, or was any kind of data?
It doesn't really go into restricting vehicles of certain size. And obviously, its focus is on speed rather than size, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So you need another transport study really on size of vehicles. But yeah, I'd have a word with Emma, and like you say though, Val, it's maybe a case of putting pressure on our representatives. And
I think so, as we've got a new setup, who won't be.
And especially as you say, with a listed building, we're duty bound to preserve those buildings.
We are.
And if something is clearly potentially damaging those buildings, it should be stopped.
Absolutely.
So, okay.
Okay, thank you, Val. I've got two things. But actually, weirdly, one's my former employee, one's my now employee. So I guess I'm declaring interest there. From the co-op standpoint, we talked about a few meetings ago. We talked about having the co-op wanted CCTV in at various points in the car park or attached to the building. Basically, my now former manager wasn't really as direct as maybe he should have been when he said what he wanted.
Right.
He basically wants the town council to pay for half of it and the co-op to pay for half of it.
Ah, okay.
And I said, okay, fine, I'll speak to this committee about it and see what they say. So I said that I would speak about it tonight and then speak to him and say, but could we have that on the agenda for next
Next stage.
Next
April.
stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just wondering whether you want to take it to full council rather than the estates.
Maybe,
Because
Yeah,
it's
I
quite a
think
big,
it's a full
it's a big,
council
yeah,
thing.
it's quite a big decision, isn't it?
Yeah,
okay.
So if I ask Emma to
I
put it to
will
council,
I'll speak to him and say we've spoken.
Yeah.
And say, look, you need to be really explicit about what it is exactly you want.
and is he going to get the quotes and approach us with the quotes?
No, I don't think so. No, I think his intention, his idea was that
We do it and they
Yeah.
contribute.
exactly that.
Okay.
Exactly that. Yeah. The other thing I have is I didn't know this until a week ago. There is an air ambulance drop-off point by the football club. Right. I didn't know this. It's like a metal
A bit,
container.
yeah.
People can put clothes in. It's empty once a week. Now, basically, we'd like that moved from the football club to the co-op car park.
Right.
Spoken to the co-op, they're fine with it.
Yeah.
So it's more.
what don't know what you're talking about.
So there's one out here for the fire brigade, metal container that you can put donations into, like plastic bags of.
Oh, collection.
Yeah. So there's one of these for the air ambulance at the football club.
Yeah, it's been there quite a while.
Yeah.
Mm.
They would like it moved from the football club to the co-op car park.
Makes much more sense to be there.
Exactly, yeah, I agree. So I said that I would raise it, see what can be done.
Yeah.
Whether, essentially what I'm asking is, are you happy for it to be in the co-op car park? Moving it is something
Where
we'll,
would
Yeah.
it go, by the toilets or alongside the car?
no idea
It's-
at the minute.
And it's just for putting,
Donation.
It's like, you used to get
you
those,
read my Wellingtons off the back seat of my car.
Yeah.
exactly that.
That, you can go to do your shopping at the co-op and pop them in at the same
Exactly,
time.
Exactly.
Yeah, they have them in loads of places. It's quite standard,
Yeah.
isn't it? I
Yeah.
think from what I remember, Faith, when she was trying to get one located, she had approached Waitrose and they said no
That's,
initially.
so yeah,
And then it was the football club that said yes.
my new deputy manager said that. She said,
Yeah.
they tried to get into Waitrose. They said no. Co-op, I don't know. But basically, I spoke to my now former boss at the club, and he said, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
They haven't got a problem with it. So
It makes no sense of being in the car.
Yeah.
Who on earth would even know it's there?
The only thing that will happen is it will take up probably 2 parking
yeah,
spaces.
see that is the problem.
That is a possible no-no. I mean, in
Ah.
terms of spaces are precious.
How big is this?
Do you know, I haven't actually seen it, so I don't know.
You could probably fit it sideways into one car park space, but then you've got the issue that if a car park's right next to it and somebody
can't
pulls
get-
up, they can't
Yeah,
get
it's really
without.
got to be two.
So I think it would have to be 2 spaces.
Gosh.
Yes, there's a lot of pressure on the car park.
Unless
That's
it
why I
can
wondered
fit,
if you go by the toilets somewhere.
or it can fit, where you, at the back, where the disabled and the
Yeah.
parents parking is, you've got a pathway there and you've got some bike
Yeah,
routes. Would it fit there?
I think that's what we've got to
that's a
investigate.
good question.
Yeah, we've got to look at.
Because you've just put an Amazon thingy on the
Yeah.
front and another
Yeah.
one on the back, haven't you? So maybe under those eaves there in the back
Yeah,
somewhere,
that's a
flush
nice
against
idea. I
the,
like that.
that would save,
So who owns that bit of land? Is that the co-op?
yeah,
That's owned by the car.
yeah, you, on your plans, it's really strange because we own the car park,
Yeah.
you own the
Oh,
building,
yeah.
but you've also got the
A little
pathway
bit,
round
yeah.
the side, yeah.
That's because the roof hangs over. I think, isn't it?
Okay, that's interesting. Okay.
So I think that needs to be on full council as well,
Yeah,
to relocate
Okay.
the bin, yeah.
yeah.
That's it. That's everything. So thank you. Thank you for being in the Estates Committee meeting. I'm putting it into a rubbish.